Hello YouTube, I am Pinstar, and this is Offworld Trading Company Strategy and Tactics. So my very first video was just sort of an introductory video into the game, showing you some of the basic concepts, giving you a sample game, and what have you. Now I'm still toying with the best way to do videos for this game. And there's a number of different ways that we can approach it, and one way that I thought of is presented to us by this lovely option, Replay Game. Now it says here at the moment, Replay Game from a replay file, but it doesn't give me an option to choose said file. It always goes to whatever the last file is. Luckily in the last file I had a pretty decent game to show you, different one from the first game that you saw. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a video based on observing a replay game and actually bouncing between myself and some of the other AIs to see what everyone's doing and try and give you a little sense of scope of how the game is playing out, what moves might have been good ones, which ones might be bad ones, and other things that might be contributing to the success or failure of various companies. So, again, just experimenting with the format. Let me know in the comments if you like this style better, or if you prefer me doing a direct playthrough commentary. So without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, here, so what I'm going to do here is I'm pausing the playback here, because what I want to do is I want to examine how everyone's scan patterns are going. So this is my current scan patterns. I went boom, boom, boom. Saw some stuff over here, decided to dash over here. Miss Research, what's Miss Research doing? Oh, no, it's not showing me theirs. That's bullish.
Low levels of water found.
Oh, I needed to, okay. So, Miss Research is going down south. Ms. Entertainment is also going down south, but heading over to the left here. And Mr. Launch also went down south. So I was the only rogue that went north with my scans here. And it's a good idea to sort of see sort of the scan patterns that you and your opponents are going for. Because there's certain tactics and strategies to be had when deciding which directions to scan. See, I know... See, here I dropped my colony right here, so I got myself next to a big patch of iron, nice big patch of aluminum over here. I decided to risk it without seeing a source of water nearby, so this is kind of a risky start on my part. But nobody else really sees... oh, Miss Entertainment. Miss Entertainment sees this gigantic swath of water over here. So I kind of luck out in the fact that this little patch of water is not actually that bad. Yep, and Miss Entertainment sees the swath of water and she's like, I'm capitalizing on that. Alright, Mr. Launch drops a scavenger colony right here next to Miss Entertainment, also wanting in on the on that, and Miss Research drops it right in the middle of the aluminum, figuring that she can grab that. And grabs the low carbon. I do question the AI's choices of going for scavenger colonies when carbon's not that populated here on the map. I mean, got a couple of things of carbon here in this crater, but they're all low sources. You got one low source of carbon here. And slowly the map is being peeled back. This is all stuff that nobody scanned. And it slowly gets revealed over the course of the game. Alright, let's increase the speed here a little bit. So I am going here. I went with a one steel mill, one aluminum, and one electrolysis. Miss Research went with the carbon extractor. Where is Miss Research's stuff? Yeah, where is Miss Research's stuff? I know she's laid down more than just that one carbon extractor. All right, she threw down what looks like, yep, she's laying down a farm, and it looks like she's also grabbing a solar panel. So she hadn't placed all of her stuff yet. She was still deciding on what to get. Ms. Entertainment, what is Ms. Entertainment doing? I know Ms. Entertainment, yeah, she grabbed a piece of my thing here, and nope, we got a claim option here.
Bidding will begin at...
I forget who actually wins this one.
5,
I know I cast my hat into the ring. Yeah, actually, I do think I win this one. And decently cheap. So it's a good extra claim for me. So, alright, I pick up an extra claim. What do I decide to do with it? I believe I think I go for either I think I go for that second steel mill there, which I should be deploying shortly. I'm just sitting around here for a second. Probably either saving up the resources or trying to decide what to do with that extra claim, since I wasn't expecting it, so I wasn't factoring into my strategy. Oh no! I decide to pop out a glass extractor because silicon is extremely rare on this map. So I want to get myself a source of glass going, and even though it's really far from me, I decide to go after that. All right, Ms. Entertainment, we did that. Mr. Launch, what's Mr. Launch doing? All right, Ms. Entertainment's grabbing herself some water, oh, she's just getting a normal water pump, just to get that as a base resource. Getting electrolysis over there. Electrolysis, no, that's my electrolysis. Oh yeah, and her steel. So she's kind of diversifying. I don't think she's tapped into aluminum yet. So she's probably has to buy her aluminum right off the market there. Mr. Launch just started tapping into our into the water fields up there. All right, I get my first expansion down first, and immediately lead with the second steel mill here, so I can increase my production there. If I remember correctly, I think I grab one of these geotherms. I mean, look at this. I mean, there are sometimes you'll have maps where there's like no geothermals. This thing is lousy with geothermals. So power's not really too much of a thing. Yeah, geothermal. That's six geothermals on this map. So this map is like insane with the geothermals. I mean, they go unclaimed for long periods. I decided to just grab one for myself, just so I don't have to keep paying for the power, just in case it does spike. But I don't remember investing too heavily in that. All right, Miss Research, let's take a look at what you're doing. Let's kick the speed up here. All right, Miss Research has a solar panel. So, despite the abundance of all this geothermal, she decides to go for the solar panel. Not so, a little questionable, unless she doesn't, yeah, no, she still has to pay carbon for that, rather than a ton of steel.
We'll have this done in a jiffy. I just need to locate some spare
Alright, but she does manage to, she's probably saving her carbon for a HQ upgrade.
Their services to the highest bidder.
3,000.
Alright, these pirates, remember correctly,
5,000.
I don't think these ones pose a problem to me, but let's see who grabs them ultimately.
8,000.
Alright, Miss Entertainment. Yeah, it looks like Miss Entertainment's the one that won the pirates here.
Market is online.
Alright. So, Miss Entertainment has got herself a set of pirates. I forget where she lays them down. Alright, still focusing on Miss Entertainment here. Nope, there we go. There we go. Just wanted to make sure to get that. Alright, Mr. Launch has expanded himself. So despite the really scarcity of the carbon, speaking of scarcity, a carbon shortage kicks itself off. So that's either going to make them very happy or very sad, depending on how much extra carbon they have. How much do they have? So Mr. Launch just blew all of his carbon. Ms. Research has 20 carbon in the bank. So they don't really have the carbon stores to capitalize on this, and it's going to be kind of a... Alright, so yeah, I finally lay down the first geothermal of all this, just so I don't have to...
filthy bandits.
Okay, so Ms. Entertainment... Oh, I see what she's doing. Now, that was a good move. Normally, trying to intercept carbon is kind of, carbon's kind of low priced, unless there's just a carbon shortage and it's the vital lifeline to a scavenger colony, and, the price is nice and high, and you have nothing to do with carbon anyway, so you might as well pirate it and then sell it to capitalize on those high prices. So, good move, good use of the pirates by Misentertainment there. Alright, so back up to me here. Oh yeah, Misentertainment also annoys me by expanding in and denying me the triangle here by throwing down a second steel mill here. Hey, everyone's going for alternative power sources when there's all this geothermal floating around. I don't know why they went ahead and did that. I decided to go for an early expansion into chemicals here, wanting to go for a aggressive research game. I got a second hydrolysis plant over here to keep pumping out the fuel. Not quite enough for me though. I'm still net negative fuel here, so that that kind of bites me a little bit in terms of ratcheting up my debt. All right, Mr. Launch. Mr. Launch has himself a farm. He's got himself an electrolysis. What else is he doing? He's got himself a high source of water.
A new claim is available for auction. Bidding will begin now.
All right. Not too aggressive on that claim.
1,000, 6,000, 7,000.
All right, Misentertainment. Oh, no, Mr. Launch. All right, yeah, Mr. Launch looks like he's going to be the one to grab that. Nope, no, never mind. Mr. Research decides at the last second to swoop in and try and get that 9,000 bid.
Sold.
Sold. All right, Miss Research, what do you do with that? All right, so she's goon squatted her single source tile here, which actually, given the rarity of, well, it's actually not that rare now. I think when she originally settled, she didn't know about this patch of carbon up here. And I'm already sitting on 2 sources of it, so I could extract the gas. Okay, Misentertainment. So yeah, the world's production of steel just got frozen right here because nobody else is making steel, and they cut both of ours. So that's one of the downsides, and it's obviously. Hang on, let's see if it tells me. Let's see if it tells me who actually kicked that off. It probably doesn't tell. It's obviously either Miss Research or Mr. Launch that kicked that off. But a very effective thing, and one of the problems, and this is something you couldn't. If it was just me building my 2 things here, that wouldn't be a very effective EMP. But because another company decided to shoulder up next to me and put all of the same industries there, a third party can go in there and just ruin both our days. So that's. I think I have things paused here just to try and find out who the culprit might have been on that. So let me just go for it. Because when you pause the game, the recording actually pauses. So we should be moving this along shortly. Okay, all right. There we go. I had to put in a little cut there. All right, so those are counting down. And again, it doesn't, they triggered it on that tile, and it seems to cause a bigger effect on the centered tile than it does the others. And since we're both scientific, these wear off twice as quickly as it normally would. Water pump, Miss Research's water pump got blasted apart. Which is an odd choice, because water's not that expensive right now, so I'm not sure who did that or why. I know it wasn't me. But yeah, they did not want them extracting that much water. That is quite a lot of water. I mean, a high tile and a medium tile both giving each other 50% bonuses. That's probably more water than you could realistically use. All right, mutiny. Oh, that was my mutiny. Yeah, I remember mutinizing that one so I could temporarily get the triangle out of the deal here. And steal some of their steel production. Because steel's nice and high right now, so I wanted some of that for myself. Yeah. Alright, and let's see. I kick out a... what do I kick out here? Oh, yes, my engineering lab. So since resources are a little bit scarce here, I decided to go the engineering route rather than the, well, actually I go the engineering route and the patent route since I'm going so aggressively into chemicals. And chemicals are needed for both engineering research and patent research.
Trying to break our stuff.
All right, mislaunched. They keep blowing up the water pumps. Well, I guess it's having its intended effect. Someone's trying to blow up all the water and spike the price of water really high here. And also someone tried to nuke
their services to the highest bidder.
See, now that's a big weakness of scavenger colonies. So they defended their tile here from an underground nuke. An underground nuke against a low resource tile would actually make it, it drops it down to a level called trace, where it only gives half of what a low is. Okay, I forgot who grabbed that one. All right, food is starting to spike up real high in price here. Yeah, they keep. Someone has gone on a crusade against these water pumps. They are trying to spike the thing here. And oh yes, shortage soon. The two scavenger colonies are privy to shortages and surpluses before the two science colonies. Whether or not they have the goods to capitalize on it, see, they don't have any spare fuel to capitalize on that. So they're just going to have to eat that for the fuel costs. Oh yeah, and the other thing they go on a crusade against is my little cluster of 4 hydrolysis reactors here. Because, I mean, look at that fuel price. Look at that, 183. And here I am with 4 things all clustered together that make fuel. So who is it? Who's the one who has the supply of fuel? It might be Miss Research. Miss Entertainment's not making that much. All right, yeah, they're dropping the pirates right here because they want to. Now that the stuff is becoming unfrozen, they want to intercept that fuel because yeah, that fuel is expensive. That fuel is extremely expensive, which is interesting. I guess they wanted to sort of create a scarcity all the way up the water tree because they started off going on a crusade against water here, and that's jacked the price of just regular water up. But now they got and there goes another power surge. There's another power surge. Courtesy of well, we didn't see who it was courtesy of. I wish it would tell me who. Well, we can see in the numbers who was kicking off all those power surges. But yeah, even with the science cooldown here, geez, food's at 120 and it's about to hit a shortage. So that's going to be problematic for everybody. Because I don't think anyone's making food. Yeah, Mr. Launch isn't making food. Miss Entertainment's not making food. Ms. Research is making a little food. And I'm not making enough food.
Freelance pirates are auctioning their services to the highest bidder.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I remember the pirates are fast and loose in this game. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not making any food. Because I decided to put all my stuff into that. But yeah, both ends of the fuel. Yeah, there goes the water. Yeah, there goes the water again. So the water and ergo the food and the fuel, and to a lesser extent the oxygen, but that's not too bad. That's pretty intense there. All right, what do we got? What do we got here? More water tile freezing. Someone's got a goon squad on the there, and yeah, once again, people are just leaving the geothermal vents alone as if they didn't exist. All right, so we do have another glass producer. Miss Entertainment is in the glass industry. So that, despite that, and despite my one glass thing, I mean, 3 glass industries total on planet, serving the whole population. Glass is still pretty expensive. All right, black market is back online, and who are we observing at the moment? We are observing Miss Research, and Miss Research, she is loading up with the stuff. So Miss Research has been rather aggressive here. All right, someone got hit with a underground nuke. No, that wasn't a underground nuke. All right, Mr. Launch has himself a engineering lab, and he's improving water production. Smart move, smart move. Meanwhile, I've gotten myself, since power's down the toilet, a thing of a pleasure dome, and am working on my own thing. I'm working on fuel production. I am working on steel production, chemical production, and electronics production. I'm laying out the electronics as we speak. And let's take a look at the patents here. So I've gotten carbon scrubbing. That's how I can do electronics here. All I'm doing is I went and manually bought silicon because I'm not mining it. I lay down the electronics factories in the aluminum because that's one of the things they need. And carbon scrubbing just pulls the carbon out of the air. So they basically supply 2/3 of their stuff by themselves. All right, Mr. Launch nabbed my pleasure dome.
Bidding will begin.
If you're the only one that owns a pleasure dome, you're going to want to think about. Oh yeah, I remember going aggressively for these thinking machines, getting all the sabotage going around here. Although ironically, it's not these being sabotaged anymore, even though steel is still quite high. Yeah, they're still going after all these hydrolysis machines, and that's what's keeping fuel so freaking low. Oxygen, look at oxygen. Yeah, they just constant pressure to to kill these off. Ms. Entertainment has gone full bore in food production. She wants to capitalize on this. She is here to capitalize on that food price, $267 per unit for food. And she's plundering more carbon from Ms. Research, so further denying the lifeline. Because I mean, look at these two poor scavenger things. Ms. Research is still level 2. Mr. Launch is still level 3. They really shot themselves in the foot here by going with the scavenger. You really, if you're a scavenger main, you really gotta pay attention to the map before you decide to go scavenger. I think this map would be fine for one scavenger if they saw this big patch up here and got maybe like 2 mines next to each other. But even that is a little bit iffy. You'd want 3 of them, and people could do tons of stuff with underground nukes to shake that loose. All right, so Ms. Research finally upgrades, and
Your stock is being
Ms.
bought. Your stock is being
Yeah, Mr.
bought.
Launch is getting bought like crazy by Ms. Entertainment. I think she wants his engineering lab. Has he done anything else with it? He just went 2 units of water production and then is doing nothing with it. But he doesn't have a means of producing chemicals, and chemicals are expensive, which is where I'm making all my money. Because I'm going double up with chemicals here, and it looks like Ms. Entertainment's getting in on the chemicals gig as well. She's got the same idea. I'm also finally, now that people have stopped nuking these things, I'm finally got my fuel, and I got level 3 fuel here. So I am making fuel like crazy out of these things. It is just obscene amounts of fuel heading into my stuff here. So more than enough to keep that, and I go for triple food to capitalize on the food prices up here. But I decided to do it as in a different water table, so they don't get included on the nukes flying around here and the EMPs and what have you. And I'm also researching food. So that's I'm capitalizing in on that, and look at that. I'm just 2.25 chemicals a second, 1.87 electronics a second, and here I am. I'm still manually buying up the silicon.
Bidding will begin at
It is climbing in prices, but not to an unprofitable level, given the price of electronics and given the other two sources of materials are essentially free to me. Oh yeah, and I'd also decided to finally kick out another geothermal. So finally, no, not me who's kicking out the geothermal. Who's was that Ms. Entertainment who's going for that geothermal?
The black market.
I remember somebody else finally gets. No, I go for a third geothermal here. Just because power is actually finally climbing back up. So you'd think a map with six geothermals would have no power problems, but nobody taps into them. It's like people look at it and it's like it's so abundant, I'm not going to bother, but then nobody bothers and it's not abundant. So sometimes, even though if a map is just lousy with a specific resource, that doesn't automatically mean that resource is dead in the water and it's going to be worthless. Because if everyone thinks it's worthless and doesn't go into it, then it's going to be very worthwhile, actually. All right, so I'm the first one to get my off-world markets here set up. Miss Research is still monopolizing the Pleasure Dome here, although that's not as profitable. Where's her pleasure? Where's her Pleasure Dome? She randomly decided to build her Pleasure Dome. No, wait. That was from the mutiny. Duh. So Miss Entertainment. So here, even though Pleasure Dome is making $129, it's technically losing money because the price of it uses one whole unit of power per second, and the price of power is higher than was higher.
Your stock is being bought.
And yeah, I start going go for Miss Entertainment's throat because I see her more as a threat. So I decided to go for the bigger player and then let Miss Research just do her thing. What is she researching here? She's getting more steel. She's desperately trying to get more power here. And what's Miss Research? Everyone's going engineering labs here. What is just more aluminum? Well, yeah, look at the price of aluminum here. Can't say I blame you going for aluminum. But see, here's the thing. Other than Miss Entertainment, nobody's really doing chemicals. And even Miss Entertainment's not doing chemicals too aggressively. Oh, well, she is now. She's got 3 chemical plants, 4 chemical plants, 5 chemical plants. Miss Entertainment is finally deciding, hey, we got to go chemicals here. Look at the price of chemicals. And we got to do our research here. So yeah, I am the most targeted for sabotage because my stuff keeps getting nuked. But thankfully they've laid off that because fuel. I have completely destroyed the market for fuel. That's one of the dangers with going so aggressively and so deeply. I mean, I'm level 3 efficiency research, and I got 4 things next to each other. So fuel, I'm making more fuel than anyone could possibly use.
Your stock is being bought.
Yeah, I do. I got an off-world market, and we're going to be hearing the buzzer pretty soon. Alright, so I got Miss Entertainment and I got Mr. Launch, which she bought already, so I got a 2-for-1 special on that. And all that's left is Miss Research here. Poor Miss Research. She's what's she doing here? She doesn't have much in the way of debt. She doesn't have much in the way, but at this point her stock price is just not enough. She's just not worth enough. So yeah, I just keep firing off those off-world shipments, and there's not much she can do. Even if she ramps up her aluminum, here she is. She's selling all her stuff, trying to raise some cash, trying to get her stock price
your
up.
Stock is being, your stock is being bought.
But yeah, there's nothing left for her to do. And I take the game. So that let's take a look at the numbers. Let's take a look at the numbers. So. Well, you were seeing their stock prices throughout the whole game. Let's take a look at the resource graphs here. Do just an overview here. We'll do it one at a time. So power, yeah, I suspected that power wouldn't go too crazy, but I was right for the wrong reason. I thought everyone was going to go geothermal, and therefore power would just be, sitting at $1 the whole game. But no, everyone just went crazy solar. And I was the only one that went geothermal. And then I guess, everyone just forgot about power and just kept growing. So power outstripped the ability to produce it, and it went crazy. And then everyone realized that they needed to go power and went back down. Water, yes. This was, I think this was actually Ms. Research's campaign of terror against anyone who was making water. By systematically nuking and, EMPing and power surging anyone who was producing water, you basically kill the tree at its base. And she was also waging war against farms and my electrolysis reactors. So food prices went crazy, oxygen prices went crazy, fuel prices went crazy. I mean, you mess with the water tree, you're going to mess with the prices of a whole bunch of other goods. The only problem is that she must have spent a ton of money on all that sabotage, but she wasn't making those things herself, not in gigantic quantities. She might have made her money back, but she wasn't packing inventories of 400, 500 units, where, if something, goes through the roof to $200 for fuel, that she could just unload on there and just capitalize on all that. In fact, I was the one who was capitalizing on that once they finally let up on my fuel producers. Aluminum, everyone was making their own aluminum, but I think everyone retooled away from aluminum because it was so cheap. And when everyone does the same thing at the same time, the price starts going crazy because people keep needing aluminum, but if no one's producing it, then the price goes up and up and up and up. Iron, with the two science people there, we weren't even dealing with the iron. So it was just the two scavengers fighting over it, and I guess they didn't really go around producing it either, or at least not too much in the way of large quantities. So the price kind of kept pretty high. The more science guys that you see in a particular thing, generally the higher the price these base unrefined commodities are going to get. Iron, carbon, silicon. Well, carbon's a special case, but steel, let's see what the steel market. Yeah, steel market was pretty steady, pretty high, and then whoop, way up here. There's a lot of periods of very, very rapid growth in building deployment. Lots of building deployment means lots of bought steel. Carbon, yeah, carbon was pretty high in the beginning, especially given the fact that we had we had that carbon shortage. That right there, that random event carbon shortage, that put the hurt on those two scavenger colonies, because to buy their stuff, they weren't producing it all in that great quantity, and they needed to use it more than sell it to expand themselves. So that really stunted their growth. So I think this right here, this carbon spike, kind of put the death knell on those guys. Not to mention the Ms. Entertainment's sabotage and piracy of their carbon supplies, and all those underground nukes hitting their carbon deposits, or trying to anyway. It's a double-bladed sword, being so dependent on carbon, and it's so easy, yet it can be so hard to obtain carbon as a scavenger colony. Chemicals, look at this beast, look at this. I forget if there was an official chemical shortage on chemicals, but there may have well been, because the price just skyrocketed, and despite our aggressive thing, we were just using it left and right. Everyone was running engineering labs, and they were just sucking up the chemicals like crazy. Now you can tell an interesting progression graph. As the colony grows, as the base colony grows, they actually start to consume a little bit of chemicals. Not all that much, but you can see the natural growth of the colony here. And then finally someone makes chemicals and sells them. That drops it down here. And then people start using them and buying them. And then chemicals go crazy and are no longer really dependent on the demand of the colony, even though, well, the colony still has their demand, but It's not tied to the demand of them from everyone else. Silicon. Silicon's gone crazy here. And again, not a lot of silicon deposits. Not a lot of silicon deposits for people to tap into. So glass went high and stayed high for that reason too. Silicon was kind of hard to come by in this map. And then you got electronics just making their fair climb up here. Sharp upgrade. I think I did a big sell here. And then demanded the price go right back up. All right, so looking at everyone's profits here. So yeah, the carbon shortage in the beginning was definitely the death knell of Miss Research and Mr. Launch. If we look here at carbon, well, actually, they bought more than they sold of carbon. Interesting, but they still used a whole lot of it, and that's an opportunity cost they had to pay. That was carbon that they didn't get to sell. But they didn't even produce that much of it comparatively. They made a lot more water and power, so they were more invested in those than they were in carbon, just because there wasn't much carbon for them to make. If we look at Mr. Launch here, same deal. They didn't make that much carbon, all said and done, and they used a lot of it. So yeah, they ended up selling some of it, but they weren't really dealing in a lot of carbon, just because they were kind of gun shy to upgrade because of the opportunity cost of carbon. Then you look at Ms. Entertainment. She's a completely different deal here. So she made her money on the power market. She got in there. Granted, I don't think it was the most efficient way. She probably would have done better going with tapping into some of those geothermals rather than producing some of the solar panels. But she might have actually. Did she go into? No, she wasn't that heavy into silicon. She only had a little of that. She went heavily into steel, just like I did. Very heavily into aluminum, which. But she ended up, I think it looks like she ended up stopping her production of that, because look at all this aluminum that was purchased, despite making 1,032 of it. So she must have stopped her aluminum production and then had to buy like 300 units of it for some of her final buildings or upgrades, and ended up paying through the nose for that because aluminum was so high priced at the time. And yeah, that's about it. So she went for a metals play here. Glass, yeah, she had her 2 glass reactors, and those did well for her. She got into chemicals, but she got into chemicals too late. I mean, she was going gangbusters into chemicals. 5 chemical labs just got set up, but they were at the very end. So that wasn't so good. She did, however, she was probably the instigator of the water shortage, because look at this. Didn't buy any food, sold 177,000 of food. Bought only a little water, sold more water. Fuel, look at that profit margin on fuel. So she was almost certainly the instigator of that grand water, oxygen, fuel shortage. And if we take a look at black market purchases, well, she went aggressive with that, but she only did 1 EMP, 1 power surge, and a goon squad. So no, she couldn't have been the pesterer. I don't even know if it was Mr. Research, because it was definitely Mr. Launch. Mr. Launch was the scourge. Although it was weird, Mr. Launch was kind of playing kingmaker for Miss Entertainment here, because all the crap that he did, Miss Entertainment ended up benefiting from it. So she knew how to tap into it. So just because someone's messing with the playing field, even if you didn't pay for the sabotage, as long as it's not against you, you can profit off of it if you know what to do with it. So yeah, I hope you liked this review and analysis of the game. Let me know in the comments if you like this style of Let's Play, or if you like the live one where I'm actually playing the game physically as I'm commentating, and everything's done from my perspective. If you like this video and want to see more like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me a comment, good, bad, or indifferent. Your feedback is always welcome. So until next time, this has been Pinstar, signing out. See ya!